Silent Hill Revelation. Okay, so before we get started, I don't know if this is going to show up in the video, but I have a mark on my forehead right here, and it is because I am very smart and good and not clumsy at all, and I was curling my hair and I burnt my fucking forehead. So Silent Hill Revelation is a movie that is the sequel to the first Silent Hill, even though it makes no goddamn sense. This one sticks closer to the Silent Hill 3 game than the original Silent Hill movie did to the first Silent Hill game. It kind of retcons the entire first movie though, so there is just so much wrong with this movie in terms of like, it's just, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of problems with this, and I'm going to, I can't cover everything because I don't want to make a 3-hour video on how bad and what is wrong with Silent Hill Revelation. So first off, I'm going to say that this one doesn't do like the Silent Hill eeriness or creep factor that the first one was able to kind of do. Basically an entire just add in jump scares and scary shit because fuck it, we're getting money, bitch, it's time to get paid. And on top of it just being like a hollow, mindless cash grab, it was also like initially released in fucking 3D. So like here we are in 2020 watching a movie that was initially released in 3D and is all of the bad tropes of 3D movies that, fuck, it's very bad. So I think maybe the best way to do this is break down the movie, and then if I want to point out that it's wrong or retcons the first movie in any way, then I will say it then. That seems like the best streamlined way to break down, critique this pile of shit. So let's start. So it starts off with Heather's nightmare, and she's in the carnival and, running around, and eventually, like, evil Alessa is there, and Pyramid Head is there, because why would he not? Red Pyramid is there. And then there's the masked guys are there, too, and Robbie the Rabbit makes a cameo. And then from there, she wakes up in her bed, and then, like, Sean Bean is there. And he is, like, waking her up, I think, and she is like, oh, I had a nightmare, or whatever. And then, from behind, Sean Bean gets fucking hacked, and he dies. But it's okay, guys. It's another nightmare. So then it goes, they wake up, it's the morning or whatever, and they're sitting at a table talking, and the acting is so wooden in this film. Just 100% from basically everyone. It's very much like, is this the first day they have seen these scripts? And also, like, do they not know how to act? Like, I mean, I'm one to talk, but still, it's so wooden and awkward. So Heather asks, like, why Heather? And Sean Bean's like, it's like my mom or my grandma's name or something like that. And we find out that they're running away from the Silent Hill stuff. And also, it's almost Heather's 18th birthday, so she gets her vest thing that she has in the games. So her look is pretty close to how the character looks in the games. So then, like, Heather goes to school or whatever, and Sean Bean's all like, make sure you don't fucking talk to anybody, because we can't make friends. It's okay. Don't make friends. So she goes off to school, and Sean Bean is, like, in his house and stands in front of a mirror, and it's like a flashback to fucking Rose, him and Rose in a mirror, but Rose isn't actually there. She's only in the mirror realm, and she's talking about how she had to find the seal, but, like, she found it, but also she couldn't come back with Alessa because, because the seal only allowed one person to go from Silent Hill to the normal plane of existence at once, so she sent Alessa and is all like, Sean Bean, protect our baby, Bean. And he's like, oh no, I will, I'm very sad now. And I am very sad as well, Sean Bean. Why the fuck did they do this? Like, the first one, it was an okay film. It had a good ending. Like, the ending was perfect. We told a whole story. We don't have to go back there. Everything is done. It's settled. People can have their theories about what actually happened. Who shot first? Was he a replicant? Who fucking cares? Make up your own opinion. But no, now we have Silent Hill Revelation. Because fuck me, I guess. Heather's like on her way to school or something. I don't really remember how this part like happened. She runs into the detective guy, like the detective from the fucking game, and she's frightened. But then she just goes to school. So then we go to Heather's awkward fucking high school introduction where she's all like the new kid in town, and the teacher's all like, give an introduction, and she's all like, I don't really want to. And then some dumb bitch makes fun of her because it's high school and it's awful and nobody really wants to be there. Heather stands up and goes on this fucking edgy ass tirade about, I'm not gonna be here very long. I'm not even gonna remember your stupid fucking names or your goddamn faces. Fuck all y'all. Leave me the fuck alone. Your joke isn't funny. I've been the new girl for the last, like, fucking forever. So, whatever, Jessica. Oh, I'm sorry, is that not your name? Don't care, I already forgot your face. And then we are introduced to Vincent, played by baby Jon Snow, who will only be referred to as Jon Snow from here on out, because that's how I want to do this. So, Jon Snow is also new at school, so the teacher's like, Jon Snow, would you like to introduce yourself? And Jon Snow's all like, I can't follow that. You could. You fucking could. So Heather's having like a Silent Hill school time flashback, and then the lights go off and it switches over to Silent Hill, and she's like she gets to see a no-armed man. And then she eventually like walks into or runs into Jon Snow, and he immediately starts flirting with her. He's like, hey, want to grab a coffee? We're both new kids. And she's like, no, did you not hear my edgy ass speech? I don't even know who you are. Like, where did you come from? What was your name? Jonathan? Okay, yeah, got it. I fucking said Jonathan as if that's not like the long for John, but the character's name is Vincent, so it made sense. And then I said it, and then I was like, that's, your joke fell. Like all of them. So then we also get to see the detective is doing his job and stalking this teenaged girl, so sorry, your job is creepy. So I fucking forgot this part. I guess Heather was supposed to meet Sean Bean at the mall. I don't remember why. It's probably very important to the plot, but it's not important to my life to tell you it. So she goes off to Central Square Mall, where a child is having a very creepy birthday party that she, like, in and out Silent Hills it. We pop back over to a Sean Bean scene, and in this scene, Sean Bean is being attacked. I don't really remember how this happened or whatever, because in my notes I just wrote, oh no, Sean Bean. I know he doesn't die. So then we go back to Heather at the mall, and she is being stalked by the detective, because that's their job, is to be stalkers for hire. So she's trying to get away from him, and she goes into the back of the mall, which is something everybody can just totally do. But while she's doing this, she sees like a kitchen area, which also, pro tip, people are so cool with you going into their kitchen areas or anywhere near a kitchen when it's not an open kitchen. I would know. I worked in kitchens for 50 years. So anyway, she walks by that kitchen and she sees a guy filleting another guy. So the private investigator, they call him a detective in this movie, but honestly, like, do you hire detectives to stalk people? I thought that was a private investigator thing. Maybe it's the same fucking job. I don't know. I don't get hired to stalk people for a living, so whatever it is, detective or private investigator, his name is Douglas Ass Carter. Okay, but anyways, he follows her through the back hallways of the mall, which is definitely, if there's one person doing it, why don't we all fucking do it? Who cares? And he catches up to her and tells her, like, hey, just so you know, like, I was hired by the Order of Valtiel. I'm probably not saying his name right, but, like, and then he tells her that, like, oh, your dad told you were in a car accident when you were younger, and that's why your mom's not here, but that's not the truth. You guys weren't in a car accident, even though, yes, they were in a car accident. That did happen. But he's like, you were at Silent Hill and you were trapped there. And then he warns her that obviously, like, the Order is coming for her, and they weren't the Order in the first film, they were the Brethren in the first film. But we'll get more on this later. Great. But then a monster shows up, and it's Missionary. But Missionary has tits now. More on this later as well. So Missionary cuts off Cartland's fingers. Heather and Cartland get into an elevator and, like, try to get away. Missionary follows and attacks the grate above the elevator, and then seemingly disappears. They get to the bottom floor, I'm assuming, and then Cartland is yanked out of the elevator. Blood. So I forgot to mention this. Heather is wearing, this is seriously not fucking important, but somehow it's important, but at the same time as it's important, makes it completely not important anymore. But so Heather, when she went to school in the mall, she was wearing like 2 extra jackets on top of it because it's like, I guess, winter or something. After Cartland's blood is all over her, she runs and she's in like a storage room and she takes off those bloody clothes. So then she's in her, you know, her Silent Hill 3 get up. A janitor enters the closet that she's in and she freaks out and runs out and like leaves through the back entrance of the mall. At the same time, there's already fucking police on the scene and they're already carting out Douglas Cartland's body on a stretcher with like a blanket over it. These cops, the fastest in wherever the fuck they live, because it could not have been more than maybe 20 minutes from Douglas being yanked out the elevator to Heather walking outside, and the cops are already there. They already have the scene covered. They already have the body. Excellent murder police work. So when she gets out, a police officer escorts her away. He's all like, "Hey, you can't be back here. This is a crime scene, ma'am." And then so she is escorted back and she's like looking like, whose body is that? She's probably not looking like that. She probably knows who it is. The detective stops the coroner person or ambulance person, I don't know, and is like, hold on, wait, I gotta do police work right here, right now. And like pickpockets Douglas. I don't know. I'm not a police, but this seems like unorthodox. Like, wouldn't you do that when you found the body, or at least like just take note of everything from the morgue? So anyways, he pulls the wallet out, and oh, it's Douglas Cartland. And then he pulls out a picture of Heather and he's like, oh, he was looking for Heather, she's now our main suspect. What? Like, if you're a good detective PI person, the person you were hired to stalk doesn't know that you were stalking them. Because if they knew, then they would change their routine, or they wouldn't do the thing that you were hired to figure out that they're doing. Like, this... Oh! And then after he takes the wallet out, there's another officer that comes out with Heather's jackets. Another... How so quick, yet so far. So then, like, Heather starts to leave, and Jon Snow shows up and is like, what's going on? And she's like, I gotta leave. So, Heather and Vincent are walking away from the crime scene mall, and, you know, she has been trying to get a hold of her dad for this entire time, and she is taking it a lot better than I think I would, knowing the circumstances where they're basically, like, codependent as fuck because they're running away from Silent Hill. She doesn't know that, but he knows that, and she knows, like, Dad will never not answer the phone call, and she's been calling him a bunch of times and he hasn't answered, and she's, like, really downplaying that. And I thought that was, I don't know, a weird director or acting choice. I would be losing my fucking shit, honestly, if I were in her shoes. But anyways, on the walk to the bus station, Heather sees a group of masked men, and she's like, can you fucking see them? She doesn't curse at that point, I don't think. Jon Snow is like, no, the runner? What are you talking about? And she's like, oh, okay, great. But also, like, close your fucking mouth! Why is his mouth open for so long? It bothers me. What are you doing? Close your fucking mouth! I also did make a note here that I thought that Jonathan Snow looks like an 80s cool guy. They make it to the train, and Vincent's trying to make, like, small talk, where are you from, or whatever, and Heather, like, goes into the full-on hard drive manic pixie ass dream girl and asks, like, do you think dreams and reality are, like, interchangeable or the same thing, or whatever the fuck she says? And Jonathan Snow is not here for her to be the manic pixie dream girl. So he says some shit like, wow, no small talk? Like, what about Facebook? Do you do Facebook? And she says the most fucking relatable line I've ever heard in my life. Fuck Facebook. Girl, same. I deleted that shit. Fuck that shit. So she says, like, fuck Facebook, and then she says, do you? And I thought, like, she meant, like, do you do Facebook stuff? But she meant, like re-asking her question about dreams and stuff before. And then, so Jonathan Snow starts talking about his crazy-ass grandpa. Heather makes it back to her street and is just kind of like, bye, and goes home and sees the symbol painted on the wall, and it says, come to Silent Hill. And she's, like, screaming? Mr. Snow comes in. He doesn't come in. He fucking walks to the front door, jiggles the handle to try to see if the front door is unlocked, and then knocks. Like, that is creeptastic. Fucking knock, announce who you are. If you hear somebody screaming, in a house, at least fucking knock before you try the door, especially if you were just with that person. That gives off such bad vibes. This is when Heather starts to implicitly, explicitly, whatever the fucking word I'm supposed to use, trust Jonathan Snow with all of her baggage and is like, we have to go to Silent Hill, will you come with me? So they don't leave immediately. They go through the weird box that Sean Bean's been hiding, with all the Silent Hill drawings and stuff like that in it. And it also is revealed to Heather that she's adopted. We see the medallion. It's one half of the medallion. It has another half that you have to find. And then apparently when you have the two halves together, you can leave Silent Hill. But that is not at all important. Then Jonathan Snow, when he sees the medallion, he's all like, do you know what that is? And this is probably one of the only good parts of acting in this film, because when he said, do you know what that is? I was like, oh, he knows. And then, yes, later on it is revealed that he does know. But I was like, oh, shit. And then the police are there. It's those police that are looking for Heather. They found where she lives, and they are knocking at the door like, hey, we just want to talk. Let us in. Don't call a lawyer. So obviously, like, Heather and Jon Snow leave the house, and the police break in, as, you know, they are fucking want to do. And they see the writing thing on the wall with the come to Silent Hill things, and they're like, oh, probable cause. Wow. How are you... What? They also must have, like, the fastest fucking forensics team, too, to verify that those jackets were A, in fact, Heather's jackets, and B, in fact, drenched in the blood of, Cartland or whatever, because it's been not maybe an hour, maybe 2. You know, fuck it, I'll give them 4 hours. I will say it's been 4 hours since Douglas Cartland was murdered by the missionary, and they have already got DNA, like, done on those jackets. It's good. It's fine. Those cops are showing up at her house, going into the house without permission. You know, they didn't say they had a warrant, I don't think. But anyways, they're in there, fucking dicks. Heather and Jonathan Snow are on the road, and Heather is reading, like, her father's letters to her about, like, hey, sorry I lied to you, but, like, all of the notes that you need to know are in my journal, everything I could find on Silent Hill, which is the only fucking thing I think they actually carried on from the first film, which I fucking destroyed about having so many goddamn useless Sean Bean scenes. They actually brought the part of the first Silent Hill that I fucking hated the most into the second one without retconning it. Fuck me. Oh, we also learned from the letter that he did kill a man in Portland, which is accurate to the game. Sean Bean in the Silent Hill 3, Sean Bean killed a man in Portland that was also a cultist. Alright, I'm gonna call this a break time because I forgot to mention some things. Obviously, Douglas Cartland is in the entirety, basically, of fucking Silent Hill 3, and they just fucking killed him off to put Jonathan Snow as a love interest in. Also, obviously, Sean Bean is not supposed to be alive at this point either. Like, he should have, like, he's dead now, but in the movie, he's still alive because the Silent Hill movie 2, I was gonna call it a franchise, but does it count if there's only 2? The Silent Hill 2 movies like to waste a perfectly good Sean Bean. Like, he doesn't care if his characters live, he only plays them good if they die. Also, I'm just gonna say this, the Metatron seal thingy does not work like that. I also forgot to mention that when she was in the mall, she was seeing a whole bunch of spooky, like, people faces where their skin flaps were just kind of, like, stitched together. I'm sure I'm gonna throw up some images because I cannot explain it any better than that. Which is very spooky and kind of Silent Hill-ish. It's probably not. I can't think of a single creature that is, like, sewn back together wrong. I really didn't give a shit about those creatures either, because it just, I don't know, it just seemed like, let's throw these in because they're creepy. Didn't give a shit about them, you know, fucking whatever, it's just there to, like, oh, it's eerie, right? This is scary. This is what's scary about Silent Hill, right? It's just this. It's just the monsters. Another thing, cell phones don't play as much as a prominent role in this one as they did in the first film, which I thought was kind of weird. I don't think it was cell phones, but it was definitely, like, pay phones that Heather Mason used a couple times, I think, in the third game. So I thought it was weird, like, just the lack of phone usage comparatively. And also, you cannot tell me that a teenager in 2012 wasn't on their phone. So back to the car ride. We find out that Silent Hill was founded on an Indian burial ground because we like tropes. Hey man, I heard you like tropes, and for that trope, I got you another trope on top of that trope. Is this meme still effective and like meaningful? No, but here it is. Your second trope on top of your trope is it was also a prison colony, and I had to check my notes because I just said trope like 6 times in a row or more, and I can't think anymore. So we also find out that the Order is waiting for a child to be born for like a new world to come or whatever, and the coal fire is the demon child, which was already like confirmed kind of in the first movie. So we also find out that Alessa was supposed to be cleansed, but it failed, so she made a world of darkness, and then also Pyramid Head is her bodyguard essentially. I don't want to get back into the Pyramid Head thing because I think I said my piece a little bit in the other video I did of Silent Hill. So we all know, if you watch that, we all know where I fucking stand on Red Pyramid. This also, like, basically retcons the whole reason why Alessa was burned. Alessa was burned because she was born out of wedlock. Christabala was like, we punished the sin, not the sinner. Alessa was the sin. So I guess in a way you could say like, oh, she was being cleansed because she was the sin, but I don't know. They kind of dropped all of that. They kind of dropped the whole she was born out of wedlock, therefore she is sin kind of thing in this film. So on their way, they stop at a hotel because Jon Snow's the only one that knows how to drive and he's tired. So they stop at a hotel. What a first date. Hey, my father's missing. We have to go to this random town that, you know, you just met me. Please drive me there. And now we're going to spend a night in a hotel room together. Do you have to call your parents? No? Okay, good. Don't tell them where you are. And also in the hotel, Jon Snow tries to talk her out of going to Silent Hill as he has fallen madly in love with this girl he met maybe 24 hours ago. So Heather has a nightmare and it's with like Alessa and like the city being on fire, and everybody in this scene runs like they don't really care if they're running or not. They run like dipshits. So she wakes up and she finds out that Jonathan Snow has just been sitting there watching her sleep because no dude in this fucking movie besides Sean Bean can be anything but fucking creepy. They get into another fight about not going to Silent Hill, and then it's revealed that Vincent, aka Jonathan Snow, is a child of the Order. Wow, bet you didn't see that one coming. Also, this fight is garbagely acted. It's so bad and it's so awkward. Bad, it's very bad acting. This fight scene specifically like really made it stand out in my mind that this shit is a cash grab. Nobody's really invested in this. Within this seriously cringeworthy bad acting scene, we find out not only is he the child of the leader of the Order, he's also tasked with bringing her back to Silent Hill. He's been brainwashed his whole entire life, which clearly didn't take, to see Heather as evil, and she has to go back to Silent Hill to, I think, fuse with Alessa? Yes. To fuse with fucking Alessa, which I'm pretty sure already happened in the first fucking movie. That's retconned if it was what happened, which I'm pretty sure is what happened. On top of that, there are still people from Silent Hill, and Alessa's whole point of bringing Sharon and Rose to Silent Hill in the first movie was so she could fucking kill everybody who lived in Silent Hill. So you're telling me that this adult person who has like a demon with them enlists the help of their good self's adopted mother to bring about revenge, and in this revenge that person just misses more cultists than were in the fucking first film? No. She's basically omnipresent. She created the entirety of Silent Hill to be a hellscape for these people, and you're trying to tell me, an adult person, that she missed more than 20 fucking people. That is you. Okay, listen, I can suspend my disbelief for only fucking so long. Why? What? Who the fuck told you you could do this? At least give them some kind of like, I'm trying to script doctor this and I literally cannot think of anything. You just do it. You just start over again. You just say this is not a sequel. You say it's just, we're doing our own thing over here and we're gonna do it how we want to do it, and it has nothing to do with the first one. I forgot where I was. He's also the son of the leader, Claudia, now, and he was totally gonna do what his mama said that he was gonna do, except that he didn't count on falling in love with Heather. The scene where like it's brought up that he was able to go to the plane that they're on, you have to go through suffering or whatever, and he lifts his shirt and it shows like a giant scar on his side or whatever. I thought he was screaming in the scene. I'm gonna play you the scene right now because I thought when he was lifting his shirt up he was screaming. I didn't realize they were gonna cut to the scene where he got the scar, and it fucking cracked me up.
Suffering.
So I don't think this is right, but to my recollection and my notes, it's basically like he told her they wanted Heather to come back to Silent Hill to use with Alessa so they can like destroy Alessa and free Silent Hill. Anyways, the hotel turns into Silent Hill. They both get knocked out by the missionary, and then Heather wakes up and she's by herself in the hotel. And then when she leaves the hotel, it's all like the normal raining ash or whatever it is, so she walks into Silent Hill. When she's walking through the town, she sees a bunch of people in their houses just being fucking creepy, and then she gets to like the church area and there's a whole bunch of people just burnt at the stake because witches. Dahlia gives us a beautiful, and by beautiful I mean unnecessary, exposition dump on Alessa about how she was burned by the cult for her powers and her powers only grew or something, some shit like that. Alessa was just so fucking mad that she took the good part of her soul, and you know what she did with that? She fucking horcruxed it into an orphan baby girl. That's right, Alessa did not give birth to Sharon. And by give birth to, I mean she didn't like made it so, she just willed Sharon into existence. No, this time she fucking takes an orphan baby and she says, oh, you've got a soul in there? Fuck that soul's dead. We're gonna put my soul in it. That's the good part of me, and we're gonna put it in that soul. And you have to put this in the movie for something that will come up later, and I'll tell you about it then. So then Silent Hill will do the thing, and it's Silent Hill, and Heather is told to run, and that's safer inside, so she do a run. And then she runs directly into a fucking mannequin shop. Safety. So when she's in there, she sees a woman actively turn into a mannequin. And then there's another woman tied up in like spider webs that she frees. The woman that she frees says that she was on a road trip with her friends and they just took a wrong turn and ended up in Silent Hill, which also retcons the part of the first Silent Hill movie where it was supposed to be only Alessa allows people in. So unless Alessa is doing some kind of Strahd shit, this doesn't make any sense. So they both try to run away because there's a mannequin spider. And I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, but I drew this. Look at it! So that's how I felt about that. The new girl is gone the second she shows up, essentially. She's like there to tell you that they don't give a fuck about whatever the first film said about how you can enter Silent Hill. They're only there to tell you that it doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Fuck it. The CGI on this mannequin spider I thought was fucking lame. I really didn't care for it. I thought it was of its time, essentially, really. But that's, you know, not a fair assessment because of course it would be of its time. It's from its time. To me, I thought if you cared about this movie, if you cared about what the fuck you were doing, and also obviously had the resources, you should have done fucking stop motion for it, because that would have made the mannequin spider 1,000 times fucking scarier, just based on the uncanniness of how stop motion creatures look put on top of the screen with actual moving people. Oh my god, that would have been terrifying. But they didn't. They did the CGI, and here we are. And then we get a scene with Jon Snow getting in trouble with his mom, and he's grounded to the asylum. But it's a good thing he's going to the asylum because Heather is also going to the asylum because she's trying to find his grandfather, Leonard Wolf. So it's just serendipity. That movie, Serendipity. So Heather makes it there, and she gets the key to Leonard's room, which she knows for some reason that I don't remember. She has the key, and she's running, and there's like monsters that are attacking her. So in this one, you can really tell when Red Pyramid is like on the verge of showing up at any point, because they do add in metal scraping sounds, like his sword scraping on the ground, which I did appreciate. I thought that was pretty neat. So she gets to Leonard's room and we do like another weird exposition dump. Also forgot to mention that Heather has a gun, but Heather has a gun. So Leonard gets a hold of the other half of the Metatron cube because the other half is inside of him, I guess, and then so he gets it and he just stabs it into himself, and then he turns into a monster. But before he does that, he like falls back into the darkness and Heather shoots at nothing. And Heather's like knocked out and he just kind of like potato sacks her over his shoulder. So he's this scarecrow looking ass monster and he's carrying Heather through the asylum to probably bring her to Claudia, his daughter. So when Leonard is doing that, Heather like wakes up or whatever and sees the thing in his chest, and his chest is just wide open. So of course she just shovels her hand into it and takes it out. And then he dies. Easy peasy. So my next part of my notes just says weird chat at Alessa, so I don't know what that means. So they use the asylum as a way to put people, like non-believers, in for like brainwashing stuff. So we have an insane asylum that is fucking full. Alessa missed so many goddamn people on her murder spree in the first film. The people in cells start reaching out for Heather, and like one of them I think grabs onto her and she like just ducks or whatever, and she's on the ground and she's, you know, freaking out and whatever. And then our boy is here, even though again our boy shouldn't be here, but our boy is here. Everybody's reaching their arms out to try to grab Heather, and Pyramid Head is here being like, I am Heather and Alessa's protector. I'm gonna chop your arms off now. And he does that. Then we are escorted to a Jonathan Snow scene. So now we are shown that Jonathan Snow is in danger. He's being wheeled in on a gurney by like 3 or 4 masked guys. Or maybe it's just 2, I don't really remember. Anyways, they wheel him into the room, and in this room are the nurses. So if you've already seen the first video, the Silent Hill video that I made, we already know where I stand on also the nurses being in either of these films. My disappointment is immense, yet I am not shocked. So anyways, the nurses, doing what they do, react to sound and whatnot, and attacked the guys that wheeled Jonathan Snow in, and they're dead, and Jonathan Snow is in trouble. But wait, Heather's here, and she's here to save Jonathan from his fate, and she's like trying to unravel his... But so she's trying to undo his bindings. The nurses start to be like concernicus about it and start like attacking kind of. And there's like this way over dramatic hospital gurney flipping scene. What are we doing here? This is unnecessarily dramatic. Also in my notes I just wrote, yike, this acting. So anyways, our star-crossed lovers make it to the lakeside amusement park, and honestly, sometimes the way that Kit Harington's character reacts to its own reality is just absurd. You grew up here, bud. Why are you freaking out in any kind of way? And this is like where it's revealed that the Brethren in this one is not the cult's name. It's the cult's most dedicated people, and apparently they wear the masks outside because it keeps them being pure, like it keeps them from the darkness. Which is, that doesn't work in the first one because we literally see those masked people walk outside without their masks on. And that's good job. Great retcon, I guess. So the retcon guards are walking around the amusement park, and Vincent's all like, I'm gonna be a distraction. And he kisses Heather and then runs off. So then from this point, it's like the beginning scene where it's her dream where she sees like, in the carnival, she sees like the dead goldfish, and she goes to like all the other things and whatever. It's literally not, I didn't describe the beginning scene very well. It's like a whole carnival ride situation. She gets cornered by the masked men on the carousel, and then the carousel around, or the masked men around the carousel get set on fire, and then there's the Alessa scene or whatever. But that's basically what's happening now, except that it's real life. But before she gets to the carousel, she is confronted by a masked man. She pulls his mask off, and it is confirmed that the Brethren do die if you take their masks off, which is a complete retcon of how it works in the first film. After that, she makes it to the carousel, and all that stuff happens. It's also shown to us that Pyramid Head works the carousel because it is fucking hard. Rent is high in Silent Hill. You wouldn't think that it was so high, but the cost of living in Silent Hill is fucking high as shit. That's why he needs a second job running the carousel, to pay rent, to pay bills. He's probably got mouths to feed. Edgy Alessa shows up. So then they have like a little tiny face-off, I guess, and they fuse again for the second fucking time. And you would think like, oh, okay, they're fused now. This means Heather has powers and also all of Alessa's memories and stuff. But no, yet again, nothing. So they fuse, and luckily Heather wins the visual contest, so they get to look like Heather now. And also it's the end of Pyramid Head's shift, so he's done running the carousel and he's got to go to probably his 3rd or 4th job. So Heather swiftly makes her way to the sanctum, and this is the first time Heather sees Claudia, and also Sean Bean's there because he's in this weird statue thing, which I think is supposed to be like Vatiel. Oh Jesus Christ, I forgot to mention that the seal of Metatron or whatever is also not only like allegedly your way out of Silent Hill, but it's also the way to reveal like the true forms of people and things. So, cool. So Claudia tells her that she has to birth the new god, which really doesn't hold any kind of fucking water in this film at all, because it's very, I don't know, it's like they say it, but they don't really care all that much, honestly. It's just because, like, literally all of the other motivations of the cult thus far haven't been really that. And we don't even really get that from when Jonathan Snow is revealing all of his truths to Heather in the hotel. It's just... So obviously in the game, like, yeah, Heather is needed to birth the new god. Claudia is the leader of the cult. The cult is the Order of Valtiel. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not misremembering. Also, it's revealed that Claudia needs the seal of Metatron to do something with the god. I don't fucking remember. It's not important. In the most unaffected delivered line in the entire fucking movie, Heather just hands it over and is like, show me who you really are. And then Claudia touches it, and then oh no, it looks like Claudia was the missionary the whole time. That's why the missionary had tits. Do I have to tell you that this is not the same as in the game? Because it's not the same as in the game. It seems to be that this reveal shocks the brethren because they kind of bail really quick. So, and then we come to the scene where I really realized that this is 1000% not like a bad movie made by people who meant well, but like just a complete soulless, hollow cash grab because Pyramid Head shows up to fight Missionary. I'm not fucking kidding. So while we have this iconic Silent Hill monster battle, Heather and Jonathan Snow are trying to untie Sean Bean from the Valtiel IKEA chair. They're doing it and they're doing it good, and the monsters are fighting. We get a bunch of scenes of that. And they stop untying his feet to watch the monster battle because that is what you do as people panicked to get the fuck out of that place. You stop trying to get out. But it's a good thing that they stopped because if they didn't stop, they wouldn't get to see Pyramid Head epically decapitate the missionary. So then, like, that happens, and then the movie is essentially over. Like, they try to leave Silent Hill. Sean Bean is like, no, I'm staying to find your mother Rose because that's what I have to do. Opening it up for fucking another goddamn movie. Jonathan Snow and Heather are walking out of Silent Hill and they hitchhike with a trucker. Honestly, when I saw them hitchhiking and I saw them get into a semi-truck, I was like, oh no, that better not be Travis Grady. And then they get in the truck and then the guy's like, my name's Travis Grady. And I'm like, oh no. Setting up for 2 movies. So, like, the difference between the films is a lot. It's a lot. But, like, the ones I didn't, like, mention that I noticed was their ages are off. They changed, like, Alessa's age from, like, 9 to 11 for, I don't know, reasons to make it seem more palatable that they would burn an 11-year-old comparatively to a 9-year-old. But I don't understand. That doesn't really track. Oh, I forgot. I can't believe I forgot this. I forgot to mention that Claudia fucking said in the movie, Claudia said that she is going to finish what her sister Cristobala couldn't, essentially, right? And the thing about that is Jonathan Snow is Claudia's son, right? And Claudia is sisters with Cristobala, and in the first movie, Cristobala is sisters with Dahlia, which means Claudia, Dahlia, and Cristobala are all fucking sisters, which means Heather and Vincent are cousins, and they're kissing cousins. I think they were a little bit clever about it, because I think that's why they added in, like, oh no, she just put her soul into a random orphan, and it's like, well, I mean, you know, that's great and all, they're still related? How does that work? I don't know. It's spiritual incest, I guess. Also, in the games, Missionary is Claudia's, like, servant or whatever, and it's not actually, like, Claudia herself, and I don't understand why they made Claudia also Missionary. It doesn't make sense to make them the same to me, because you're not saying anything with it. It doesn't represent anything. It's just there. Not everything has to represent something, but I think that if you're gonna do something like that, at least have it have some kind of meaning, I guess. So in the game, Heather, like, throws up the god baby, essentially, and then, like, Claudia eats it and then gives birth to the god baby, and then Heather has to fight the god baby. And that makes the whole Heather having to carry the new god without her consent hold more weight than just saying, oh, you have to give birth to the new god, and then that going fucking nowhere. So it holds more weight, and it makes more sense if you were trying to make a good movie off of this video game. You could. Video games like this have good story. They have good meaning and symbolism, all of that in their world, their lore, their monsters, etc. Instead of doing that, they just did a bad thing. I can't even explain it in words. It's like, it's just a bad thing. I'm sorry, did you not want to see Pyramid Head fight a sexy Cenobite? So I fucking hate this movie. I hate this movie because it retcons, like, basically everything from the first movie. Ruins any kind of, like, story or any kind of meaning that the actual game has. It doesn't ruin the story of the game, but it takes it and acts like, oh, it's a loose adaptation. It doesn't touch on any of the atmosphere. It doesn't, this movie does nothing. Anyways, y'all, I think that's all I've got for Silent Hill Revelations.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.